Imagine handing thousands of dollars to your tax accountant. You're told your estimated tax has been paid. Your paperwork's been filed. Everything's taken care of. Then you get a letter in the mail from the IRS. According to their records, the money was never received. Now, you could be facing unpaid taxes, interest, penalties, and the burden of proving that you already handed that money to somebody you trusted. This is not a hypothetical situation. Federal prosecutors say this has happened to truck drivers all across the country. At least 26 people have already been identified, most of them self-employed truck drivers. A Georgia tax preparer is now facing a 54-count federal indictment, and the FBI believes there may be more truck drivers who don't even know they've been scammed and are victims. Today, I'm going to explain what prosecutors say happened and how you can check whether the IRS actually received the money you paid them or not. My name is Jim Campbell, 33 years in the trucking industry. I've driven the roads, dispatched the drivers, and brokered freight. On August 12, 2026, a federal grand jury returned a 54-count federal indictment against 62-year-old Diane Marie Poe of Loganville, Georgia. Poe owns Genuine Financial Services, which is an accounting and tax preparation company located in Walton County. According to the United States Department of Justice, the company provided bookkeeping, payroll management, payroll tax services, and personal and business tax preparation. Most importantly for this story, many of its customers worked in the trucking industry. Federal prosecutors allege that Poe defrauded at least 26 people, most of them truck drivers, self-employed. Those are some serious charges, my friends. Each bank fraud count alone carries a possible maximum sentence of 30 years in federal prison. But I want to be very clear about something. For the time being, these are just allegations until they're confirmed and proven in a court of law. What matters to truck drivers right now is what prosecutors say happened to the customer's money. Drivers thought their taxes were being paid. According to the indictment, customers gave Genuine Financial Services money intended to cover estimated taxes, payroll taxes, and other tax obligations. Now think about what that means for an owner-operator. You calculate how much you owe. You transfer money to somebody you hired to handle your taxes for you. That money leaves your bank account. As far as you know, you did what you were supposed to do. But sending money to an account does not prove that the IRS received it. The money leaving your account and the money reaching your IRS account are two completely different transactions. Federal authorities say many of the company's trucking customers arrived through word-of-mouth recommendations. That should make sense to anybody who spent time in this industry. Truck drivers talk to each other back and forth all the time about everything. They constantly exchange recommendations. For example, who's a good diesel mechanic? What insurance agent do you use? What factoring company pays on time? Which carrier treats owner-operators the best? You know what I'm saying. And who is a good accountant who understands per diem, depreciation, quarterly taxes, and the expenses involved in operating a truck? A recommendation from another driver can carry more weight than just an advertising you might see on TV or hear on the radio. You figure that if 3 owner-operators are using the same accountant, that accountant must be trustworthy. But word of mouth is only a starting point. It's not a verification. The driver who recommended a company may not have checked his or her IRS account. That is how a questionable operation could potentially spread through an industry built on personal relationships. One satisfied customer tells another driver. That driver tells 3 more. Before you know it, one accounting office may be handling taxes for trucking companies and owner-operators in several different states. And that may explain why the FBI is not limiting its request to just Georgia for the time being. Federal investigators are looking for possible victims nationwide. The IRS warns business owners that they remain responsible for their business taxes even when they use a professional preparer. An owner-operator may still need to prove how much money was transferred, when it was transferred, what the payment was intended to cover, which tax period it applies to, and whether the IRS credited any payment to the correct account. A verbal promise that, hey, everything's taken care of, it's been handled, will not provide much protection. Look, I'm not a tax attorney and I'm definitely not an accountant, but there are some basic steps every owner-operator can take to maintain control over his or her business. First, access your individual or business account through the official IRS website. Do not follow a link in a random email or text message. Review your payment history and compare it against your own bank records. If $10,000 left your account for taxes, you should be able to verify where that payment appears in your IRS records. Second, obtain the appropriate tax account transcripts. An account transcript can show payments and changes made to that account after a return was filed. Do not confuse a copy of the return prepared by your accountant with proof that the IRS accepted or received the payment. Third, keep complete copies of every return. Do not settle for a signature page or a one-page summary. You should have the complete federal and state returns, supporting schedules, and proof of electronic filing. And fourth, ask for confirmation numbers. When a tax payment is made electronically, there should be a record showing the amount, the date, the tax period, and account to which it was submitted. Most accountants are honest professionals. This is not an attack on any accountant. It's simply good business practice to verify that your money reached its intended destination. Do not ignore a government notice because somebody tells you, oh, don't worry, I'll take care of it. Ask for written proof that it was taken care of. Anyone who used Genuine Financial Services or employed Diane for tax services and believes they may have been swindled or affected is asked to contact the FBI's Atlanta field office. The confirmed phone number for this is 770-216-3000. You can hire somebody to calculate your taxes. You can hire somebody to prepare your returns. You can hire somebody to manage your payroll, but you cannot completely hand over the responsibility for protecting your business. Trust your accountant, but verify those filings. Trust your payroll company, but verify those deposits. My name is Jim Campbell, 33 years in the trucking industry. I've driven the roads, dispatched the drivers, and brokered freight. If you want straight trucking news and practical information that can protect you and your business, subscribe to this channel. I'll see you in the next video.